Welcome back to part 56 of Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, this Let's Play's gone on that long now. This time we're covering Score Attack and the time trials. This run of Score Attack was on my second attempt that I did, because the last time I did Score Attack was when I was going for the trophy for getting 1,000,000 points, which I know how to do, and you're going to see me do it again here, because I felt like if I was going to show it off, I needed to show off getting how you get to 1,000,000 points. So if you're doing trophy hunting, you know how to do it. The main idea for all of it is getting to rage times 4 and then killing on a counter attack, because you do get much more points off a counter attack, and if it's like a special animation like that, it won't kill them, so you can do it again. The only thing is that there are a couple enemies that I'd say don't worry about and just kill them. If an enemy gets enraged where you can't block them, it's usually better to just kill them then and there, because by the time it takes for you to wait it out, it wastes too much time and you end up wasting all your meter. And additionally, there's these specific enemies that we'll meet as we go that I'll point out when we get to them, so they don't appear until the second act of this anyway, that they're so inconsistent with their attacks that you see me kind of give up very easily with this, but I still break 1,000,000, so it's fine. But the point of Score Attack is that you're going through the entire game without any of the cutscenes, and it's just literally counting how well you do. You're on a time limit, so don't like dawdle, but the time refreshes after each act, and what I mean each act is like it splits it all into stages, with stage 1 ending when you beat the first trial, stage 2 on the second, stage 3 on the third, and then stage 4 is just Gilgamesh. And yes, you have to fight both versions of Gilgamesh. But the Score Attack is what kind of highlights just how freakishly short this DLC really is. Like, you're looking at this video length, but we're not just doing Score Attack, we're doing the time trials as well. The Score Attack, this only makes up about 20 minutes of the video. I think it's like I didn't really double check. I just stacked them on. But the time trial's a little way yet. By the way, yes, this in our Let's Play, this is going to be the very last time we play as Gladiolus, assuming we don't for some reason play as him in episode Ardyn, but I don't think we will. And before episode Ardyn's release, in terms of my planning and everything I set up for this Let's Play, this is the penultimate thing. It might even be the penultimate part, because I don't think episode Sky will take longer than one part. Which, yeah, I know it is a very big thing in its own right, episode to Sky, and other people have made it 4 parts and whatnot. But a lot of it is stuff we've already seen, just in a new retrospect. So I only really want to show what was different in episode to Sky compared to now. The main thing being how you had to deal with Deadeye, because that was the main boss of that episode, and how you summon, because summoning was different in that as well. It was a lot more broken than it is now. Also, this is the only time you see me wait it out when an enemy's like this, because when it's a boss, what you should be doing is the moment you get the 4-time strike, counter and then go straight into Maelstrom, then Duel Master, because the sheer point rack up you'll get for it is always justified. Also, because this is Score Attack, any fight that's scripted for you to lose isn't in this, so once we kill this thing, we won't be fighting Gilgamesh right now. It will just skip until we need to move on. At this point, you can see I really want that extra parry, so I want to be at 4 times before I do Maelstrom. But this boss, well, mini boss, or whatever you want to call it, isn't the most consistent with its attacks, so you see me get bopped a lot more of unnecessary times. Yeah, I think I'll just go for it because it's vulnerable. Yep. I don't even get to do the Duel Master, unfortunately. I waited way too long. Feel free to use potions if you do drop down, because it's much better than Phoenix Downs. It does add a score bonus at the end for items you have, so it's always much better to just drop a potion every now and then than to end up wasting a Phoenix Down, because the Phoenix Down has a higher value. Like, I've heard people say if you use a Phoenix Down you don't get 1,000,000. It's not, because on the one where I got the trophy, I used the Phoenix Down because I just wasn't paying attention, and I got 1,030,000. Yeah, it was a little close, but I still got it. I actually beat that high score in this run, spoilers. Not by too much, but enough for me to be like, oh wow, I actually beat it. When there's loads of enemies like this, it's like the best result because you can get multiple in one swing, and it will give you an extra point bonus for that. As you're seeing, it's getting a 5 hit and making a score multiplier, so if you can keep it up, go for it. But yeah, this is the entire idea. You're relying almost entirely on counters. Only whacking an enemy if there's only like one left nearly dead, or they're dawdling around, or just doing anything that wastes time. Because although your time bonus doesn't matter too much, it still matters a little bit that you should at least think about it. And every time the fight ends, you'll see I immediately turn and make a beeline for the next area to try and make the most of that time bonus. I only did one practice run, and the one practice run I literally just did stage 1, but like was failing all my counters, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this at all. Well, I was wanting to do a whole practice run and I just wasn't happy with it, so I cancelled it all and then tried again. These guys can be a little annoying because their attacks are very infrequent with their speeds. Now, I mentioned in the Let's Play when we got to these guys that these guys I have vivid memories of because of score attack, and yeah, they don't give me too much trouble here. I get kind of lucky, but all of their attacks are very different timings, and they have a fairly large number of attacks, so it's very easy to just get caught. Like, every time you're expecting a fast attack, they'll deliver a slow one, and vice versa. And that's why you see me have a habit of, after I get the parry strike, instead of waiting for him to get back up, I just finish the bastards. I was hoping I'd catch him again on that one, or I'd catch either of them again on that one, but it didn't happen. To be fair, if you turn the lock off, you could probably counter swing in the any direction you choose, but I just choose not to. You can see in the background, that Reaper, yeah, he's got into enrage, so I just screw everything and kill him immediately. Because otherwise he just wastes time. And yeah, it does, like, not too much skill, like, you get the parry timing down eventually, and in some of the fights you will see me literally spam square until it gives it to me. So you don't have to be too skillful, you just need to know how to parry a little bit. Just I don't know every single enemy's timing, and I wasn't prepared to learn every single enemy's timing just for this. Especially when I know I can get a million without it, so I just learned to spam a little. This is another fight where you're supposed to use really should be using Maelstrom to kill it. But understand at the moment the boss dies, all the enemies around die. So keep that in mind when you're going. Don't try and kill it immediately like you're going to see me do. Because now it's going to die. Yeah, we rack up a lot of points from this, but we would have got more if I'd spent the time to kill everything else before this.
Any last words?
Like, thankfully I get that. Actually, I don't think that killed it now in hindsight. And there, stage 1, 280,000. Between each stage I paused and reset the recording, so you're going to see a slight cut after every stage. It was just to make sure that I'm on top of the recording, and this doesn't take too long, because I didn't know off the top of my head just how long a run a score attack would really take. I didn't know if it'd be over half an hour, so to play it safe, I like saved the recording after every stage and reset it. Because, you know, PS4's record limit 30 minutes. Speaking of record limits, I finally got an Xbox One, and with the intent of maybe being able to, like, let's play a couple 360 or Xbox original games, or even maybe an old Xbone game if I decide to. 10-minute record limit, that can piss off. And you can't even upload it to YouTube from the editor studio or straight from the clip. When you save a clip, you have to take it after, like, you've edited it or whatever, you have to put it on either your phone for an app, which is what I did for the Halo Reach video, which is why the quality was god awful, or put it through OneDrive. I don't have a OneDrive yet. So it was a bit like, oh, okay, that's a bit crap. And editing videos together, I'm not even sure how long I can make that yet. I didn't fiddle with it enough, but I was a little bit like, oh, okay. Would have thought Microsoft would have been completely on board with, you know, recording for YouTube and whatnot, and would have, like, double dipped, but no. And these, like, rock turtle enemies here that I'm, like, attacking now, these are the guys that are the most annoying. Like, the wyverns are perfect because they attack all the time, so you can get so many counters. But these rock fucks, like, they can go into an enraged state so many times, and their attacks are so infrequent. Like, I get relatively lucky on this run, but there's one specific encounter that always wastes time, so you see me barely bother with them. Like, I barely try and counter them, I just go for the kill. The one on the right will always start enraged, but because he starts always enraged when he spawns, if you focus on one, by the time you finish him, the other one probably will have left. Like, would have finished enraged. And remember, if they're enraged, you can't block or parry. I get unlucky with this that the enrage hasn't worn out, but he usually does, so I just start wailing on him. He's dead now. Also, when a fight ends, Gladio won't play any animation in score attack of, the fight's over. They will let you just immediately roll and crack on. And that's what I recommend. If you're really particular about how much time you're spending, instead of wasting the last few frames of your attack, just roll out of it and go straight to a sprint. Here's our next Maelstrom, next boss fight. With the Enkidu. You can parry the fire. I don't get it that time, but every time afterwards I do get it, I think. Yeah, there it is. And then I'll go straight into the Wombo combo, Maelstrom and Duel Master, and that ends the fight. If you can, make sure they survive Maelstrom, because then it will give you the entirety of Duel Master. Also, that one barely didn't die. What I mean is, if say they only have 1 HP left and you've just finished Maelstrom, it will still let you play out the entirety of Duel Master, counting each hit for the score attack, even though it's on 1 HP. It's only the final hit that can be a killing blow, like Kingdom Hearts 2, for instance. When you're fighting a boss in that, it's only the final hit of a combo that kills. That's how it works with Duel Master. So if you can get away with it, go for it. Also, there's an invisible wall here because obviously there's a cutscene played there, and now it just vanishes when you get it. Also, the frame rate drops for a second here. Like, it fixes itself in a bit, but it's really stuttery for a few seconds here. Like, I think it's just because of how crowded the room is. Plus, the particle effects it was doing with the door just stacked up and just made it a bit, yeah. And you're going to see me get bopped around a lot more than usual because the stutter really threw me off for some reason. I'd say if you can, try and parry the Swords of Fortitude more because they're specific parry animations, these. And if you catch another enemy during it, you get a lot of points out of it. And like I said, the enemy in question won't die from the attack no matter what, so you can do him again. Like that. So he's still not dead from that. I think I'll put him out of his misery now. So he just gets back up again. Yeah, he starts enraging, so I have to kill him. He's only on 1 HP. Alright, let's go. Yeah, you're gonna see me do a lot of little things just to save time. Like jumping off the stairs like that. When I know I'm not high enough for full damage, so I can just like drop, stop and roll sort of thing. Or lock, drop and roll, whatever the expression is. I get a bit greedy with the attacks in this fight if I remember rightly. Like, you're going to see me just do the odd swing every now and then just because I wanted to get a move on. Which you should never do if you want to maximise your score, but I do it anyway. That's the best parry animation you want because you can catch so many enemies with that if it's crowded. Also, never use the pillar, just period, don't use the pillars. They don't exist. He enrages, so I kill him immediately. I said, just get into that habit. If they enrage, it's a lost cause. And I'm waiting for these two fucks to attack me, but they're just dawdling around. When you kill all the waves, another wave will spawn, so you've got twice the fun. I think I heal after this fight as well. Thankfully, the Swords of Fortitude have actually got really good timings for the attacks. Like they give it all away, and so they're very easy to time and get the parries for. And you get to hear the wild rock music that plays out the whole of this episode. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fitting for Gladio, but it was just for this like Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack. When you listen to the rest of it, and then you listen to anything from episode Gladio, you're like, okay, this is very different. Like even episode Prompto, because all the episodes are different composers. Even in spite of that, episode Prompto and episode Ignis still sound like Final Fantasy 15 tracks. Even if a couple of Promptos are a bit more techno and techy, because I think that was Nier Automata's composer that did that bit. I might be wrong, but I know Nier Automata's composer did one of them. Also, if you got to this point and you're around 500,000, you are on track for the million points. If I say around, like if you're as low as like 490, you're still probably gonna get it. So maybe even 475, you might still get it. But if you're around 500,000, you're comfortable right now, like in a vague margin. Is our next Maelstrom fight. The Jabberwock in the background. Ow. Also more of these stupid rock turtles. Oh sorry, it's a Bandersnatch, not a Jabberwock. Thankfully this thing gets broken as well, so it's vulnerable for the entirety of Duel Master. The poor fucker. But it's dead. Also because it's these guys and I really wasn't in the mood for fighting them, you're going to see me just kind of bop them to death for a lot of it. Especially because he enrages, so now they're both enraged, so they're both lost causes really. Like, I really should have waited out to see if he goes out of it, but I wasn't in the mood, so I just crack on. This encounter is the one I was on about. The enemies here, for some reason, these guys are the most docile there ever can be in this episode. Like, they rarely ever fucking attack. And this is the encounter that I actually failed. Like, way back when I was, like, trying to go for it for the trophy. These are the guys who failed me because I wasted so much time on them. I actually ran out of time. Because they just dick about. They rarely ever attack. And when they do, it's when you're least expecting it because they've just wasted 5 minutes not attacking. So you can see I very quickly just give up and just decide to kill them then and there. But it's good to wail on them because you're going to need the next Maelstrom not too far from here. I don't know if it's this encounter or the next one, but it's one of the ones coming up. Next one, okay, so you got this one as well to build up Maelstrom. Also, this one needs to use the next soldiers up. These guys you can also do a fancy parry counter for, so make the most of it. But it just hurts a bit more if they whack you. And as you can see, I'm getting bodied here. So I immediately try and use a high potion just to get chipped and knocked out of the animations. I have to use it again. So don't worry too much about using potions or just getting walloped a lot. As long as your score's still building and you're getting the parry timing, just enjoy it. Also, look at him. He blocked my parry. Also, that attack, despite being the easiest by far to parry, I completely failed it there. So, also he's enraging, so I just kill him. If you can see the telltale sign of when they're about to start enraging, you can kill them as soon as you spot it. I think this is it, because we got a Wall Master to take down. Yeah. Now keep in mind when you kill this thing, or the Anadru, this stupid Wallmaster, when you kill it, the encounter isn't finished because there's an entire treasure trove of enemies right behind it.
Try this. Any last words?
And that's the only reason I'm trying to build the parry up again for this one, because I know there's a mountain ton of enemies literally behind this thing. And you build up so much goddamn score from those guys alone. See, the encounter's still going. The music didn't stop or anything. Like, there's loads here. So just parry and enjoy it. Enjoy the chaos. If you build up a maelstrom, like, if you feel like saving a maelstrom form, I would almost recommend using it in here, because the amount of enemies you're going to catch in a single use of it, you'd probably build up more score than you would with the Wallmaster. I mean, it's up to you. It's your call on that, but... Because just look how much points we're going to rip up with this. Keep in mind we entered this room on, like 660, I think. There's literally nothing stopping you once you start going in this room, other than the odd chip damage. And keep in mind, for a lot of this room, this is when I start tapping more than actually trying to time it. So instead of trying to time the parry, you're going to see me just kind of tap the button a lot, and it still worked that effectively. Like, we nearly got 100,000 from that alone. Also, I completely missed it there. You might have noticed it, but there was 2 enemies laying down on the far right of the screen that got up as I ran past. Like, it ends up not mattering in the long run, but I should have really hung around to deal with those 2 as well. But oh well. Also, this guy can tank almost everything, so make sure you get that special full frontal, full force counter into Duelmaster. Because look, he's still alive and got some to go. And the last thing you want is to get this far and then run out of time on this guy. There we go. And there's stage 3. Only one more to go, and so this last one is just Gilgamesh. If your score is anywhere near mine, you're probably in the clear. Like, you've probably got like a 50,000 point margin behind me in terms of score to be safe as well. Like, as long as you're like nearest to 800,000, you're good. Also, yeah, it just skips that cutscene of where Core would use it, but whatever. And it skips this cutscene as well, so when you walk up to it, the fight just immediately starts, so be ready. But this is the fight, we've done it before, you know how it works. Unfortunately, I get really unlucky at this first one. I can't parry him at all because he's using the greatsword. And so the greatsword, every single attack is unblockable. It needs to be either the longsword or the short sword. Like now, he's on the longsword. If it's the longsword, some of his attacks are unblockable, some are. So you can start building it up. Ideally, you want the short sword, you want the rapier. Yeah, you're going to see me heal a lot during this as well, because I don't remember Gilgamesh his moveset as well as I should. Like, I get better as the fight goes on, but I do get knocked sideways a little bit during this. And this boss fight, because he has 2 phases, you can easily get 2 Maelstroms off on him if you time it right. I end up not getting the full Maelstrom into Duel Master in the next phase, which is a bit of a shame, but whatever.
So what do I do? Just roll over and die?
Yes. Why else would you have come here to join the other lost souls?
Because I've got what it takes.
So there goes phase 1. It still shows this little cutscene though, because it's very short of him just changing sword. It's the only cutscene they keep in Score Attack, quite oddly enough. Like, they could have just faded to black and then loaded in the next one, but still.
The power you possess is wasted on you.
But now we enter phase 2, where he's using the good old Genji blade. And unlike Core, you can actually time his jump slash down, like, kind of forgivingly. It's not as wicked as Core's, where he just kind of hits you all the time. Because the fact that I reacted as soon as he jumped, if that was Core, I would have been hit because of his timing on it. But I do get more comfortable with the timing of it as the fight goes on, as you see. And at this point, all I'm trying to do is build up Maelstrom as quick as I can, which is why I'm wailing him a lot. Because counter damage does do a little bit more damage, and the Maelstrom is more effective than this. And now he's going to do his Duel Master. Though, keep in mind, the last hit of his Duel Master is unblockable. But the thing is, I end up building up the Maelstrom too late, so I'm not going to get to use the full whip of Duel Master as well. So we miss out on some extra brownie points as we go, but oh well. If you're sitting there thinking, but hang on a minute, doesn't he say he gets 1,000,000 points, but this is the only fight left and he's only on 900,000? That's the why I've been doing it quick and storing on items. It adds all the bonuses to everything you've done in it at the end. So the extra 100-odd thousand that we're going to get, it comes afterwards. Also, this is what I mean. The Maelstrom kills him there, so I don't get to do Duel Master. And I'm sorry, that didn't take 22 minutes, it took 28 minutes. Let's see, 1,075,918, beating my previous high score of 1,039,000. And you even get this nice little thing here. It asks me if I want to share it, I decline it. And now we're on to the time trials. The only issue with the time trials is that the snowmobile controls like arse. You have to get used to that right off the bat, that the snowmobile doesn't control well. What you need to do, and what you're trying to get, is 3 stars on each one for the trophy. You're going to see footage of me doing that in all 3. I'm going to tell you now, do them in reverse order. I do it in the order they're given, but you should do them in reverse. The reason being, this one has the tightest timing. And I'm not kidding, like, you're going to see me do this pretty damn on the nail. Like, it's not pixel perfect, but I do it real fucking fast. And then when we get to the end, we were literally on the second where we would have lost it. Well, I still have it written down somewhere, the times you need to beat. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Right, for the first one, you need to beat 1 minute 13. So, 1:13. Which, keep in mind, 1 minute 13. Let's see how close I get when I'm absolutely fucking flooring it. But this one's the tightest by far, because you can see I'm absolutely going for it with every heat of me, and I only did it in 1:11. The next one, the second trial, is far more forgiving. The way the second one works is that you're doing the one that we just did backwards, so we're going back up the hill, and so they compensate for that by making it more forgiving, because you've got 1 minute 30 to beat it in. And I said, this one's not actually that bad at all. You're going to see me make a huge mistake about halfway up this hill, grind to a complete halt, then start up again and still make it. Whilst that last one, if we'd had made the slightest mistake, we wasn't going to make it. Also, yeah, these like gold crystals that we're whacking as we go through, they give you a slight speed boost when you hit them. If you can keep on hitting them, you'll maintain a top speed. But if you drop one for a second, you'll notice it looks like a slight speed boost. It's not necessarily a speed boost, it's just putting you back up to that top speed. So you want to keep hitting them in a row to keep on going. So if you're doing it along, I don't recommend going this route. You should have taken the left, and you're going to see me like decide late on to make it and make a mistake there. That's not even the big mistake. That's one of the many mistakes. There's another slight one there. I think this is the one. I just straight up hit this. I don't go over it. So I end up stopping and having to go again. So I was expecting to go straight over it. No, you don't. Like use it like a ramp. No, you hit it like a fucking brick wall. And there we go. Despite all the cock-ups, we still did it with a second to spare. And the last one, they must have been a fan of Master Chief because it's 1:17. You got 1:17 to do it. And this one they try and make out to be the hardest because they give you the least crystals, but it's probably the easiest if I'm honest. Like it really isn't that tough. You can do it. So if you're trying to do it for the trophy, do it in reverse order, so then you'll get a feel for it whilst actually, getting a move on. Whilst the first one, the one that's the hardest, well, you would have already had 2 under your belt by the time you get to it, so it won't be as tough. Also, I take a slightly different route for this, and you can use the same route as before. I just decided to spice it up a little, so I took a different route on this one. Also, yeah, if you hit a crystal in the air, it kind of just launches you like that. And that's pretty much it to say. So as this wraps up, I guess I'll talk about what's left in Final Fantasy 15. Episode to Sky. And Episode Arden when it comes out. Episode to Sky is essentially an early alpha build of the game that came out about 2 years prior. It came out if you brought a brand new copy of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. It was like a demo that had come with it, like old school demo with your game. And it's very finicky, doesn't run very well, and it's only the Deadeye quest in a controlled part of the Sky region you can play in. But it's still got stuff I want to show, because I want to show how the game started out as compared to what it became for this genuine Let's Play. But that being said, I'll see you guys then. Take care now.